Greetings, friends. It's Denise again with Denise's Dancing Paintbrush and another collage that I've been working on this past week. I apologize ahead of time for the dog barking next door. He's been barking like that for weeks. So I started on this one with the sketch that I made from my photo reference of a little girl. I'm calling this the fall girl because I decided to do some seasonal type collages starting with fall. Not that we get much of that around here. In California, or at least in the Central Valley, we have maybe a couple of weeks of fall. I mean, it moves straight from hot 90-degree weather into 50-degree weather in like less than a week, it seems. Some Arctic winds blow down from Canada and we just don't get a lot of fall, which I really miss. I remember when I lived in Indiana, we used to have some long falls where the trees were just glorious in reds and oranges and yellows. It was pretty awesome. I miss that. But it is what it is, so I can create my own. So I'm filling the background with reds, yellows, oranges, a little green, and even a little brown and burgundy in places. But this gives me a little time to talk about my process. As you can see, I have torn the pieces of paper really small. I just want them to be a pattern and not recognizable shapes as much as, when I'm doing a background for, say, an ocean, the beach scenes, I can make the pieces fairly big and cut them long like waves. But with these fall leaves, I just wanted them to be small, little leafy shapes. Or at least that's what I was going for. And naturally, I'm spending a lot of time on these little bitty leafy shapes before I can get to my main subject. And so I actually didn't film all the way to the end of this background. I jumped right on in to put in some of these black branches, which would add to the illusion that they're leaves. And then I can jump into my main subject. Of course, I'm not going to start on her face. I'm going to start on the background around her face, her clothes, or at least the shawl that's going around her head. And as you can tell, I spend hours on this, days, and therefore I really have to be quick, or I'll lose my audience. So I speed this up to like 2000%. Because I don't want it to be boring for you. It's fascinating for me, but I don't want it to be boring for my friends who are watching. I cut little bitty blue and purple pieces for the highlights in her hair. And it's mostly black I'm using for her hair. And as you can see, I have to cut these pieces out of magazines, and often the magazines have writing over the black. Here I am working on her eyes, and as you can see, I cut out a shape that fits the eyes out of black first. And then I'm going to put over the top of that, I'm going to put the pupil, the whites of the eye, which aren't white. Naturally, they're a grayish blue. Then I'm going to put the green of the eyes, a dark green, a light green, a medium green. Hey, our eyes are beautifully mixed in color, and I have to reflect that. If I want it to be realistic, then I have to cut out some very tiny black pupils and then some very even tinier highlights on the eyes. And then I can set those aside and put the face. Well, first I'm going to make her mouth so I can do all the facial features, the highlights and the shadows right over the top of the pencil lines. And it won't matter if I cover the pencil lines, because naturally I have already created the eyes ahead of time. I can glue them into place once I have all the background skin tone. And I'm using oranges and golds for her facial tones, mostly. The highlights are not really yellow, it's kind of a pale, pale gold. But interestingly enough, it looks like it works because the values are in the right place. You see, I have to have a shadow underneath the lips. So I've got to put that in first. And then I can set the eyes on top. Ta-da! As soon as I get all the facial tones down, then I can put the lips on. Isn't that interesting? Then the eyebrows, I know where they fit. You can see I'm wearing my brace on my wrist. Really had a lot of arthritis pain this week. Perhaps it's the change in weather. Perhaps it's just I did too much. But now that I've got her face in, I'm going to finish her shawl and her hand, and I'm nearly done. The fingers with this shawl piece. And I've got to do the highlights on the fingers. Well, personally, I really liked how she turned out. What do you think? I put in 7 faces in the leaves around her, and you can almost count them as I pan all the way up and around, and also put in 3 birds, plus a few words. Well, thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I surely appreciate it. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and do smash the like button and give me a thumbs up. Bye everyone, see you next time.